Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we'll begin chapter 15 from Canto 8, the Enchanting Pastimes from the Brilliant as the Sun, a retelling of Srimad Bhagavatam. The chapter is The Divine Dwarf. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhete girim yat kripatamam vande Shri Gurum Deen Tarinam Parmananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Hari Om Tat Sat. When the astrological constellations were favorable at noon on the 12th day of the waxing moon, Aditi gave birth to her divine son. Just as Brahma finished offering his prayers, appearing in his four-armed Vishnu form, he was dressed in yellow garments, and his eyes seemed like the petals of a blooming lotus. Shark-shaped earrings swung by his seeing cheeks. The brilliant Kaustubh gem hung around his neck, and his arms were adorned with sparkling golden bangles. A gorgeous flower garland decorated his chest, surrounded by black bees. He held a conch shell, club, lotus, and disc in his four graceful hands. Vishnu's natural effulgence radiated everywhere, creating a pleasing atmosphere, and all the living beings felt joyful. The sounds of conch shells, kettle drums, and other instruments reverberated loudly from all directions. Apsaras danced jubilantly while the Gandharvas sang. Great sages, the gods, the Manus, the Pitas, and fire gods appeared in the heavens to offer prayers. The Siddhas, Vidyadhars, and other celestials gathered above Aditi's residence, showered it with flowers while dancing and singing Krishna's praises. Like a theatrical performer, Vishnu transformed his original form before his parents' eyes into that of a dwarf Brahmin boy, dressed as a brahmachari. Aditi was wonderstruck, and Kashyap repeatedly called out in jubilation, Jai Jai. The sages were delighted to see Vishnu appearing as a dwarf. Look, he has come as Vaman. They then sat about, assisting Kashyap in performing the samskar rituals, beginning with the birth ceremony, then the hair-cutting ritual, and finally the initiation ceremony, giving Vaman his sacred thread. During this ceremony, the sun god personally uttered the Gayatri mantra, while Brihaspati offered Vamana his sacred thread. Kashyap presented his son with a straw belt. The other celestials then came forward with their gifts for the child. Mother Earth offered him a deer skin. The moon gave him a rod. The rod a brahmachari customarily carried. His mother Aditi gave him a cloth to wear as an underwear, and Indra gave him an umbrella. Brahma presented Vaman with the water pot. The seven sages gave him kusha grass. The Saraswati gave him string of rudraksha beads. Kuber gave him a pot for begging alms, and Shiva's wife Bhagavati gave him his first alms. Everyone present was dazzled by the Lord's effulgence. One god whispered, "Just see how his beauty surpasses all others." Vaman then kindled a sacrificial fire and performed his first fire sacrifice. Finally, Brahma said, "My dear Lord, even as we speak, the powerful Bali is performing the Ashwamedh sacrifice under the direction of Brahmins in Bhrigu's dynasty." Vaman smiled, and rising from his own fire sacrifice, proceeded to Bali's. With his every step, the earth seemed to move. One god exclaimed to his friends, "Just imagine his power. With his every step, he creates deep imprints in the surface of the earth." Meanwhile, in the field known as Bhrigu Kacha, on the northern bank of Narmada River, Brahmins were busy performing a fire sacrifice to increase Bali's influence and opulence. To their surprise, they became blinded by a brilliant effulgence, making it hard for them to see Bali for each other. "What is this light?" one exclaimed. "It seems like the sun has risen in our very midst." "The sun god must have arrived," said another. "How has the sun god dared to return?" snapped Shukra. "Does he not fear Bali's might?" An assistant priest, examining the newcomer more carefully, said, "I don't think it is the sun god, Holy One. Possibly it is Agni, the fire god, coming to surrender to our king. Perhaps he desires to serve him during the sacrifice personally." Shukra's son Amarak said, "I doubt any gods would dare come before King Bali." This must surely be the illustrious sage Sanat Kumar who has come to bless him. While the Brahmins and their disciples discussed the possible identity of the newcomer, Vaman strolled into the sacrificial arena holding his brahmachari rod, umbrella, and filled water pot. Other than for his personal effulgence, he appeared like any other Brahmin boy with a straw belt, a sacred thread, an upper deerskin garment, and matted locks of hair. Awed by the boy's beauty, all the priests rose and respectfully welcomed him. Bali also rose and greeted the newcomer in great happiness, offering him a seat, then washing his feet as is proper in receiving a respectable guest. Remembering how Shiva had sprinkled the water from Vishnu's feet on his head, he sprinkled Vaman's foot wash on his own head. He felt a spontaneous attraction for the small boy arise in his heart. Without first consulting Shukra, he said, "O Brahmin, I offer you my hearty welcome and respectful obeisance. I think you must be the personified austerity of great Brahmin sages. Please let me know what I can do for you." Vaman raised his right hand in blessing, smiling at Bali, who felt surges of joy. "My lord Bali," he said, "because of your arrival here, I feel as if my entire dynasty has been sanctified, and the sacrifice we are performing is already incomplete because of your presence. Indeed, I think my fire sacrifice must be successful. For immediately on pouring the water that you washed your feet on my head, I felt released of all the sinful reactions of my life. What to speak of me? I think the touch of your small feet can sanctify the entire world." Vaman smiled charmingly and held out his begging bowl. Bali laughed. "If you have come here to ask for charity, you may have whatever you want. Take a cow, gold, a furnished house, food and drink, the daughter of a Brahmin for your wife, prosperous villages, horses, elephants, chariots, and whatever else you desire." Shukra stared suspiciously at the dwarf Brahmin. Who was this person stealing his disciples' affection from him? He was certainly not Sanat Kumar, for Shukra knew him well. He had never seen this person before. His influence and charisma were unprecedented. Could it be Indra in disguise? Or maybe Vishnu himself? Shukra sat in silent thought. So with this, we come to the end of chapter 18, the Divine Dwarf. Thank you for joining. Hare Krishna.